Welcome back, everyone, to Vox Markets. My name is Paul Hill, and I'm delighted today to be able to speak to CEO Sukh Chamdal and CFO Pardip Dass of Cake Box, the UK's go-to provider of luxury egg-free celebration cakes. So welcome, gents.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah. Well, big congrats on last month's very positive trading update. But with sales sort of going up 16%, I think like-for-like stores in the last sort of 40 weeks were up 14%, which is incredible given the backdrop of the pandemic. But before we sort of like unpack those details, let's just sort of run a real-life example. I've got a big family gathering in a couple of months. And it's my father's 80th. He couldn't have had it last year, so we're sort of celebrating it this year. There's about 30 to 40 guests. My daughter is vegetarian. We're not particularly price sensitive. Now, I could just rock off to M&S and buy a couple of sort of like Colin the Caterpillars or go down my local deli and sort of like get a dodgy jam cream sponge. But as I say, I'm looking for something which is fresh, delicious, everyone can eat, including the vegetarians, but guarantee the quality. So, what Cake Box? What can it do for me?
What we've done, we have become the Amazon of the cake market. Our lifestyle now is so busy. We want everything now. Right? In the good old days, we used to have to pre-order a cake 3 weeks in advance, make all these plans, and then get a cake made or personalized. But what we offer you is come into our store. We have a selection of cakes ready to go, and which we will personalize free of charge. Second, you can click and collect within an hour, or you can pre-order to whatever size, and we will make it to your requirements. And so what we've brought is convenience to the high street. Combine that with bringing fresh cream cakes back to the high street, which died out about 30 years ago. And we have a winning formula. So you can be reassured that you will have a fresh cake personalized to your specifications for any occasion, any size within the hour. And so what more you want? And we are proud in providing that service, and we are very reasonable as well. For example, when we opened up in the Midlands, an average 8-inch cake was £32. We brought that price down to 20. And so our competitors are not really happy about us. Yeah. And it's all about the scale. But the thing that we've brought back is fresh cream, excellent customer service, and on demand. Yeah. So we have peaks at Valentine's Day. We've now brought in new markets where we have peaks at GCSE results and A-level results, because people know that they can walk in, congratulations, 5 A stars, or commiserations, or driving tests, or Eid and Diwali, where you don't have to pre-prepare. You don't know what day or Eid's going to be. It can be either day, but you know you can walk into our store and you will have a fresh cream cake ready for you. And our biggest sales day is Christmas Day. And it's the demand. We have a majority of our estate is open on Christmas Day to serve our customers.
Yeah. And how can you sort of like 100% guarantee the quality of it? If I'm going to sort of like get this delivered, with the party's actually down in Newbury, and we're having a sort of big family together, and I want it personalised, say with my dad's 80th birthday. But frankly, one of the single most important thing, well, I don't mind spending 50 to 60 quid or whatever on a really big, lovely cake. People can go away with sort of doggy bags afterwards. But the point is, I want to absolutely 100% guarantee the quality.
And our systems are so simple. We have one vanilla sponge, we have one chocolate sponge, and we have one red velvet sponge. Right? We bake all the sponge in our bakery, or we pre-slice it for the franchisees. We seal it, and the franchisee's got the fresh sponge there. And when the customer comes in, or apart from the ones on the display, we will prepare one there and there. So it's the franchisee has the ability to prepare a fresh cream cake there and then for you. Our system works in such a way that you will always get a fresh cake.
Brilliant. Well, you've whet my appetite. You're on the order book there, okay? So in August, you're going to have an online delivery to Newbury, okay? And if we like it, I mean, we're going to be loyal as well. There's no doubt about it, because we always struggle getting good celebration cakes. Now,
Well, before you mentioned Newbury, we've just opened up last week.
Oh, great. Perfect. Excellent. Well, thanks for doing that. That was totally unplanned. Pardip, now I understand the business model is 100% franchise. Can you just take us through the logic of doing that?
Yeah, well, but what we wanted to do was that we wanted to have a capex light model, and the only way that we could do that was by franchising, and it also allows us to expand very rapidly as we have done. So franchising is really the way forward. It allows us to have a minimum amount of management, and it means that we've got better operational margins as a result of it.
Yeah. And how do you control the sort of the products in there, the pricing, the branding, and just the look and feel? I mean, I can see a fantastic picture of the cake box behind Sukh, so I get the idea. In fact, I think I've got a tie which is similar colour. So Pardip, how can you make sure the consistency of the customer experience at the front end is identical?
Well, with franchising, it's all about the brand, isn't it? And so, as Sukh mentioned, that, the product, we get consistency because we do a central bake of the sponge, and we have lots and lots of audit managers that go around assessing the quality of all our products. And so we have got a uniform brand across the UK. Our pricing structure is quite uniform as well. So I think that's really the key to it, is to have the consistency when you are running a brand.
And Paul, what makes the best manager? Who makes the best manager? It's an owner-occupier.
Yeah.
And because it's an owner-occupier, every sale that goes through that till is in their pocket.
Yes.
So that's why the beauty of the franchise system is they're local businesses, and they're one-man bands, or they may have, in fact, 50% of our franchises have more than one shop. But they're going to ensure the consistency, the freshness, the uniformity of the product, because it's their business.
Yeah, and it encourages presumably people like me to return and to endorse the brand going forward. I mean, if I get a good experience in August, which you've got a new site in Newbury, so I'm really looking forward to it, then I'm going to be recommending to the rest of my sort of like friends and family as well.
Absolutely, and repeat to business is the key. Right, and everybody has a celebration, and so then you will look forward to that celebration, and you will order with us, and that's what the franchise ensures. He has a budget. He spends a minimum of he or she spends a minimum of £100 a week on local marketing. But it's not local marketing in the real sense. It's about giving cakes away, helping the local community. The amount of shops that sponsor local cricket teams or football teams, or we have many examples of that. And so we engage in the community as well. So we do become a centre point for the community.
Yeah. And is that sort of like borne out with what's happened in the last 12 months with the sort of the resilience of the business and the pandemic, the entrepreneurial side of the owner sites?
We were born in March 2008 at the height of a recession, of the recession. And one wise man said, never waste a good crisis.
Yes.
When there's a crisis, you're always going to celebrate that anniversary, that birthday. You will always make sure that little chink of light you go towards. And you will say, you won't do your dry cleaning for another 6 weeks, you won't buy another pair of shoes, but you will make sure that you have that birthday and you make sure everybody enjoys that. And that's that's what we provide. And that's why we've had the growth. And because, these dark, uncertain days, you want to have an excuse for a celebration, and that's what we're there for.
Yeah. Well, I saw in your trading update that your online sales, your home delivery, in your own platform, and also using third-party delivery mechanisms, that whole thing had gone up by, I can't remember, was it 80% or something like that? Yeah. And it's now. Yeah, and it's now sort of 25% just of your reverse engineer, sort of your total store revenues. Is that going to be a sort of like a permanent change, do you think, from the pandemic? Could it have sort of supercharged sort of Cake Box's growth going forward?
We consider those third-party delivery platforms, the Deliveroo, the Uber Eats, the Just Eat, more as a marketing platform rather than a delivery platform. People who've had their main meal and then fancy a dessert, order a cheesecake or order a slice of cake, they are then converted into full birthday cake customers.
Yes.
And so what we saw is that when the pandemic hit and we started using those platforms, the sales of those stores went up, where people wouldn't necessarily come to us or have heard of us, but have heard of us because of the delivery platforms. And such was the success of that we're offering our own delivery. And just like you mentioned, your example, you're somewhere else, you want to send a birthday cake to your dad. So this is what happened in the pandemic, or that you couldn't go and see them. So we became the flora of the cake business. And so you could send a cake to your loved one, and have a Zoom celebration.
Yeah. And so it's like the Amazon of celebration, egg-free celebration cakes.
Absolutely. And we started off in my dad's shop, so I didn't have to pay no rent. But so we happened to be in a high Asian area. But now we've branched out to the mainstream, Aldershot, Southampton, or Basingstoke, Orpington. So it's the taste. You will not miss the egg.
Yes.
You will love the cream.
Yeah.
And it's what you can't get that in the supermarket. You can't get a fresh cream birthday cake because they haven't got the facilities to turn around a fresh cream cake. And that's where we're unique. We give you the best product, the best tasting product, and exceptional customer service.
Yeah.
We like to keep our happy.
Brilliant. Now, Pardip, just in terms of the sort of the all these new customers we've get, is there any opportunity to mine these customers in terms of, if you just acquired them through a different third-party channel because of the pandemic, and you start upselling and cross-selling and also endorsements and stuff? I mean, presumably, if you're the Amazon, you can really sort of like see which ones choose. They get their birthdays, for instance, get their, their anniversaries, whatever. So you just walk through us the sort of data mining opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, it's for family celebrations as well. So, as well as for your partner, it's for your kids as well. But, we do like our customers to come into store as well, because it gives us an opportunity to upsell, cake-related products. They might take a candle or a balloon. And we're doing the same thing on our internet now as well. We've given them the opportunity to not only buy a cake, but, the add-ons as well that they need for their party. But really, I think the way forward is going to be that online is the way forward. People have got used to, in this pandemic, to order cakes and order goods online, and they want things delivered to their house rather than coming in store. So we're looking at opportunities to upsell via our internet.
Yeah, I mean, the key is... go on. The key for...
And all that online data gives us the opportunity to present a offer or a reminder of their celebration, of their children's celebrations, etc. So it gives us the opportunity to build up a good database to remind the customer to come back to us.
Yeah. No, I mean, the key for me would be just guaranteeing the sort of the quality. But in terms of the actual market part of it, how big is this and what sort of growth? I mean, I have seen sort of like Mintel and Cantor saying, it's low double-digit organic growth for free from food. But you guys, you're doing at least that. In fact, you're over delivering on it.
Yeah, the market for cakes and bakes is huge, but when we floated, we said there was opportunity for 250 stores, but we've changed that now. It's not just stores; we've got kiosks, etc. So we're really unsaturated in the UK.
Yeah,
there's lots of work to do here, and we could easily go to 400 locations in the UK from our target of 250 stores.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's a great entree to Sukh then. Right, growth opportunities. Could you walk us through? Obviously, we talked about the online and stuff. I don't know, with the sort of the product mix, geographical mix. We've talked about the data mining. Anything in terms of sort of like the growth opportunities for the investors can sort of like hang their hat on for the next 2 or 3 years.
Again, originally we put a target for stores. But now what we've done, we diversified to locations. So we've got stores, we've started opening up kiosks in shopping centres, which are an extension of the local franchise store. And also, we've done a deal with a major supermarket, and we've got 5 locations already in there, and they're really promising. And that has identified further expansion opportunities. For example, petrol stations, train stations, etc., etc. So our locational number will be much higher than our store number.
Yeah.
And that has given us a lot more opportunity, and especially in these shopping centres, or just the brand awareness of being in the centre of the aisle, or serving fresh cream cakes with a brilliant display, and people to grab and go, gives us a very, very high opportunity to increase it further. And like I said, we started off in an Asian background, and we went up the M6, M1 corridor, and now we're branching out to the rest of the country. We've just opened up our new one in Wales, and or in your hometown of Newbury as well.
Yeah.
And that went really well in the first week or so that it's been open.
Yeah.
And so the whole of the UK is prime target for us.
Yeah, no, I live in Birmingham, but the party's in Newbury. Can you just talk us through sort of like, what about areas that are less popularly densely populated, or alternatively there are sort of like events like big concerts, Glastonbury and stuff. Would you ever do pop-up stores, mobile stores, or even for locations that are very tourist heavy? I don't know, Scarborough, which is very busy for a couple of months, particularly during staycations, for instance. Would you do sort of temporary stores, because it might make economic sense to do that as well?
Okay, that would be for the local franchisee, an opportunity for them to market their store and get a bit more revenue in. And we do find that, for example, our Bradford stores, they got a deal with the local football club, where actually the football club will use our second facility warehouse as their car park for the directors, and in exchange we do a stall there, and we do advertising in the football club. So it enhances our brand awareness.
Right, okay. Are there any sort of like, I mean, I know it's a longer term story. Is there any overseas opportunities here at all? Because you're obviously, worldwide big franchise businesses. I mean, you talk about sort of McDonald's, you talk about Papa John's and people like that, but certainly sort of internationalising, or is it just too early at the moment?
It's too early, but that is on our wish list.
Yeah.
And our wish list is that we will eventually expand abroad. And there's so many opportunities. Or America, for example, loves their street, right?
Yeah.
But we could take this to India. We could get our whole state in one city, for example, Mumbai. We could do 250 locations straight away there.
Yeah.
But not even going so far. Or Ireland is just around the corner. We got France down on our doorstep, and or the opportunities are there. But the exciting growth is still here in the UK. Let us get us maturity here, and then step abroad.
Right. And are there any sort of natural competitors here? I mean, there seems to be mainly, I mean, just as a consumer and stuff like that, it seems, as I say, go down the supermarket, get a Colin the Caterpillar, or alternatively, sort of like speak to your local deli. But, are there any, there doesn't seem to be many natural competitors here.
Nationally, like for like, we do not have.
Yeah.
But always going to get a cluster. So we've got one cluster in the Midlands who's got over 13 shops, and always going to get their owner occupier who will copy. And so we welcome competition, because it brings the market and brings awareness to the public, but no one can compete with our buying power. The biggest hurdle to them is the price of fresh cream. Because we're so big, we can probably get it at 50% less than a local operator can get it at.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who are you going to trust, a national brand or a local, right?
Yes.
Local will have their local business. Our business is streamlined so that we provide the customer with excellent customer service and product on demand. We leave the local cake box or the cake star type of specialist cakes to the locals, so they can make the caterpillars, they can make the specialist cake and the icing cakes, and but again, it all brings a market. So if there's competition, people will go to them, then come back to us when they realise that we're the best.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, if it comes to a special occasion, I'm not going to scrimp and scrape and sort of like, I'm happy to pay a good price for an excellent product consistently every single celebration that I have, because I don't want to be disappointed even in one. I want the same quality every single time. No doubt about it. Now, Pardip, just in terms of the sort of, is there a B2B opportunity here? I mean, because obviously the strengths of Cake Box is in sort of consumption at home or consumption, but dining in terms of, as we go through we come out of lockdown, people are going to be at pubs, there will be more at coffee shops. They've been sitting outside in the rain recently, just where I live. And also in sort of like, select restaurants and all this sort of stuff, because these guys also need to offer a sort of health, sort of like an egg-free, vegetarian, lovely, delicious cake. And, you guys seem to be got the perfect footprint to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, we considered it, but again, it's down to the local franchisee to have a look.
Right, okay. They would deliver in, would they?
That's right, yeah, they would make it at their premises and deliver to their local venue. But the reason that we haven't pushed this so far is because of margin erosion. So right. Everyone wants a slice of the cake, as if you take. So that's the main reason, because we've got opportunities to, supply supermarkets, and as you know, their pricing is going to be very keen. But we like to sell through our outlets to maximise our margins. And what better way to do it? We've got 157 shops, and they're walking, talking billboards of our brand. Yeah,
we've got a big cash pile. I noticed that you've got £3.5 million, or just over £3.5 million. What are your spending plans? What are you going to be doing with all the money? I mean, it's just going to be building up.
Yeah, well, this is what you get when you have a capital light model. Ours. But there's always opportunities that come up. We won't say no to any opportunities for acquisition, but we're expanding quite quickly. So there's opportunities for further warehouses, for example. But as a last resort, there's always the shareholders to feed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Sukh, are you seeing any sort of raw material price inflation at all? And if there was, I mean, would you be able to pass that on with pricing power? I'm guessing I'm price insensitive, basically. I wouldn't mind. I'm happy to pay an extra. If I'm paying 60 quid for a cake, I don't mind paying 70 quid for a cake as long as it's great.
Yes, or without buying power, the bigger we grow, we can get better discounts from our suppliers.
Yeah.
And for example, our 3 or 4 main suppliers have dropped their prices, even though commodities are going up, because they want to retain our business. And that is the beauty of being so big, is that we have got purchasing power.
Yeah.
Or if something, for example, fresh cream is volatile, and if that does really go up, or we will pass that on to the franchisees, but we give them a sufficient margin for them to absorb a little
price increase.
And we don't put our retail prices up until every 2 years.
Yeah.
So just how much stability we do have.
And how much are you seeing demand on the new franchise? I mean, I did notice you've taken 52 deposits, which is frankly massive.
Like I say, don't waste a good crisis.
Yeah.
And people all want to have their own business. They want to step out and be their own boss, but they need a little push. And the push has been the pandemic. So or the double whammy of they're getting redundancy money, or they've got the job threat. And so that exposed them now to take that final step. Yeah. And so what we found is a double-edged sword, is that we get a much better quality of franchisee applying as well now. But these are professional people. We've got pharmacists, we've got doctors, we've got accountants, we've got engineers who are now becoming our franchisees. And it's also encouraged the female entrepreneur. We've got over 32 female entrepreneurs who've joined us, and our largest group of shops, 8 of them, is owned by a female. And she's enabled herself and all our fellow ones to take that job, take that leap and become their own boss. And so we're really proud of that the amount of diversity we have in the franchise group.
Right,
if you ever come to our conference, while the chairman is doing his speech, there's children running around because we encourage them to bring their children because it's a family business.
Yeah. Well, if I like the product in August, then I might even be a franchisee myself.
And why August? We're open now.
Yeah, no, it's because the lockdowns. We can't have 30 people, and we're not allowed. It's against the rules. But anyway, August should be all right. Pardip, just with all these sort of growth opportunities now, how does that sort of like feed through into the numbers in terms of sort of like operating leverage? I mean, I did notice your gross margins are nearly knocking at 50%. How does that feed through into sort of your EBITDA operating leverage?
Well, there is opportunity for a lot of operating leverage, but what we find at the moment is it's investment. It's investment in people at the moment. So as we're expanding really quickly, we're looking at middle management as well. So I think the operating margins, whilst they're good, they're here to stay for the time being, but the improvement will come in 12 to 18 months' time when we've bedded in our senior management team, the next layer, and that will help us see off the growth that we've got.
Yeah, I did see from sort of the company's broker, Shore Capital, they're expecting sort of like low double digits for the next 2 years of like for like sort of 12, 13%, and EBIT margins of round about sort of like 22, 23%. But frankly, when you look at sort of like, other big international franchises like McDonald's, for instance, 93% of its stores, I believe, are franchises. I mean, they're at over 40% operating profit margins. I mean, presumably, just big picture wise, let's just sort of run the clock 5 years. Nobody knows in terms of nobody's going to hold you to it. But what do you, if you do sort of like, 250 stores and you put a few kiosks in on this sort of stuff, where are you hoping to sort of like, get the sales to? I think last year you're on about sort of, I think the brokers got sort of 21.7 as your revenue. What are you sort of like, just hypothetically aiming at?
Well, this year's results also include 6 weeks worth of closure period for us as well, which hopefully we won't have going forward because we have on the second lockdown been open. So we're going to get a massive ramp up for next year's numbers as the forecast in the city shows that we'll be at 28 million pounds.
Yeah, okay.
But the increase in the growth that we've got now, we could easily see in 5 years' time, we could easily be at 50, 60 million pounds.
Wow. I mean, just putting those sort of like, numbers, sort of together, it's sort of like, I see you listed the shares at £1.08 in 3 years ago, actually, almost. And you're up now to £2.60, which is a compound average growth rate. So congrats, gents, of 33%. So the shareholders are obviously absolutely delighted. And I do know personally, because I've spoken to Paul Jordan and Marty, and likewise George Ensor at River and Mercantile. They both love the product, actually, which I think is one of the reasons why they bought shares in it. But if you just run the numbers, I did sort of like only 12% per annum, just really tracking what the broker says. For the next 5 years, you get to 38, and if you put only a 25% EBIT margins, and frankly, as an analyst, I think you can probably, once you get a mature business, you can certainly beat that. But if you put those numbers and use a market multiple of 20 times EBIT, you get a share price theoretical of about £4.75, which is 12.5% compound average growth rate. You put a 2.5% dividend on, so for investors, you get a 15% return, which is, hey, giving you two as shareholders, that's probably not a bad sort of outlook as well. And that's conservative, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We said, we've done what we said we were going to do at the outset. And I think, what this pandemic has shown is that we're resilient and we've actually bounced back really strongly. So I think we can actually do better than even those numbers if we carry on trading the way that we are. Yeah.
No, again, I would point, to investors that, if you look at what you've done in the pandemic with half the high street sort of like, lockdown to be increasing your sales by double digit. You've just proven you're a super durable growth company. So absolutely fabulous. Just finally then, are there any M&A opportunities, Sukh, at all, or anything else to add?
Again, we are constantly innovating, or we've left out our vegan brothers and sisters. So we've got products coming out for that.
Good.
lot painful research, but we found a vegan cream which tastes like normal cream, and we've done painstaking research in replicating a vegan sponge. Taking out the milk protein is very, very difficult, but we're nearly there. So we should be able to offer a equivalent of a fresh cream cake in a vegan version.
Yeah.
We'll also all researching our vegan cupcakes. We perfected our vegan or icings. And so there's a lot of opportunities. We're looking into giant cookies as well. And you're going to buy a birthday cake, but you're not going to have just a birthday cake on the table. You're going to have a few cupcakes, a cheesecake, or a few cookies. So that is great big opportunities for us to provide you with all a one-stop shop where you buy all your sweet treats for that party, that anniversary, etc. on the table. Or we will looking into going to the gifting market, so that we provide you a product where you can gift, and so you can get a hamper. And there's so many opportunities out there, and we, I think, are prime to exploit all those.
Yeah. Hey, if you can come up with vegan products that are successful as Greg's vegan sausage roll, then you'll get to 50 million overnight. Never mind 5 years.
The vegan market again that's the one we found that it's been neglected, but we're reluctant to launch a substandard product, so that's why it's taking so long. And so once we do launch that product, or we want to be known as the best vegan cakes in the market, as we are the fresh cream cakes in the market.
Yeah, well, certainly your numbers are sort of reflecting that. And I'd point investors, have a look at the sort of the sector. But I ran the numbers only a couple of days ago, and you're growing faster than anybody else in the sector. It's a pretty impressive sector, like Domino's, Starbucks, Papa John's, Greg's, Hotel Chocolat. Likewise, compared to your sales pre-pandemic, etc., you're the highest now than anybody else, at sort of like over 30% of where you were on the pre-pandemic. So, that's good. And the shares, I mean, frankly, the shares are still trading at relatively cheap at £2.60, because you're on, you're about a 20% discount to, or 30% discount on the EBITDA, the EBIT and price to earnings multiples. So just finally, Sue, news flow for the next few months. I understand you've got your prelims coming out. I think it's the start of June, or sort of like towards the early part of June, isn't it?
That's correct. We should hopefully, on the week beginning the 7th of June. And so that's the results then. And then we give you an update on the supermarket experiment later on in the year. There's a whole raft of opportunities out there for growth for us and our franchisees. And our franchisees are getting more ambitious. So, where they were having just got 1 or 2 shops, they're increasing their ambitions to 3 or 4 shops. With an EBITDA of around £87,000, if you multiply that by 5, that's quite a good income for a franchisee. You're not having to work for someone. That's all in your pocket.
Yes.
And so that incentive, and that's all come out, and that's why we've got such a big pipeline of potential franchisees, because the word has got out that there is a very good earning.
Yeah.
And once your processes are set up, there's not so much pressure for franchisees, and they can enjoy the fruits of their labour.
Yeah, and their startup costs in terms of sort of operating leases, because there's more prime sites on the high street and locations now, isn't there? Because they need new ideas like Cake Box to bring footfall and whatever.
Where before we were approaching landlords are now approaching us. And again, the second thing, advantage of the pandemic, is that the high street has become more competitive. The rents have come down. We're getting much better deals and much better locations. And same with the shopping centres. They are now approaching us. Please, can you come and lift up our profile, your bright colours, your bright displays, and wherever we go, we find that other businesses follow.
Yeah. Well, brilliant, guys. Well, many thanks for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing the prelims. And I'd say to investors, if you want any of these sort of the news flow come straight into your inbox, then just follow the company on the Vox website. And if you really want to kick the tires, do like me and order online and get one of these lovely luxury egg-free celebration cakes. So thanks very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.